Hi everyone, what's up and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the most 80s movie that I'm probably going to review during this entirety of 80s week, and it is The Lost Boys. The Lost Boys came out in 1987, and I can't believe it took me this long to watch it because I feel like if I had seen this even just a little bit ago, I would have become so obsessed with it. Kind of like I'm about to become obsessed with it now, and I'm just really excited that I finally got to watch it. A couple of you guys actually recommended this movie to me. I think when I started doing 31 Nights of Horror in general, it was around the time when I reviewed Fright Night, which is another really great 80s vampire movie, and you guys recommended this one as well, but I didn't have time to watch it back then, and I'm like, I have to watch it this time, and I'm so happy that I did because I think this is going to be one that I'm going to be rewatching every now and then because it was just so much fun, and I'm really excited to be talking about it today. So if you have seen this movie, I'd really love to know what you guys think about this movie down below. Really excited to hear what everybody has to say, and yeah, I'm just going to jump right to it with my thoughts. These are pretty much fresh thoughts as I just finished watching it and I had a really great time with it. So I want to say that if you really like the 80s or you really like that nostalgia, you know, I feel like recently, ever since Stranger Things came out, especially, I feel like the 80s is a really big thing in our culture again. This movie is a must-watch because it's extremely 80s in the best and sometimes not the best ways, which we'll get into, but it just has that like really stylistic vibe that you would get when you think about an 80s movie. This one has it. It has an incredible soundtrack, which I think makes a lot of the movie. It really knows when to play these certain type of songs to like give you that vibe, give you the mood, and there's a lot of really cool songs here that I personally really like, but some of them that I had not heard of previously, and I'm like, oh my god, these literally sound so good with this scene. And I love a good movie soundtrack that just fits so well with the movie, and I think them picking all of that together really just matched the entire vibe the entire way through. And speaking of the vibe of this movie, I think it's excellent. The movie takes place in California, in this town, and I think they do a really good job at establishing the locations in the movie, such as like the carnival, especially where the vampires live and such. And even though this movie doesn't go all around California, all around the city, the locations that it chooses goes again to add to the flair of the movie as well. Like, it just makes them such fun locations. It makes it so much fun too for like the editing and the cinematography to show off like the lights, for example, for the carnival, and just really cool little things that I feel like wouldn't have made the movie stand out as much to me if it wasn't for the cool locations that they picked. So great job on that department. I also just really like the costume and the look of these people, the vampire specifically. It's giving very like 80s gothic cool vibes. Like, I don't even know how to explain it more than that. I just really love the vibe of these people, and I think it'd be so much fun to like recreate them for Halloween, for example, with all the cool makeup, the earrings, the outfits, the hair, like just cool. I feel like I'm just going to be saying the word cool the entire way through because that's how I felt watching the movie. And the movie is really fun too. I feel like it flew by, and like the entire way through I just had a smile on my face. This is definitely not a straight up horror movie. Like, it's more, I would say, like a horror comedy, because a lot of the times I was laughing and really just enjoying myself rather than being scared and stuff. But still, there's a little bit of moments here and there where there's some tension, but I think overall it's much more of a funner movie. And I think especially if you're wanting to watch something this Halloween season that won't scare you to death, I think this is a great pick because it's a lot of fun and you're just gonna enjoy the ride really easily, especially because the plot of this movie is just pretty simple, I would say. It's pretty straightforward. You have these people move into this new town and there's vampires everywhere, and then one of them basically becomes a vampire. So that's essentially the plot, and then with that you have two types of subplots basically. So you have the plot of Michael, for example, who just got turned into this vampire, trying to figure out like who he is and kind of like his journey through this transformation and stuff. And then you also have Michael's brother, who I think that was my favorite part of the entire movie. It was Corey Haim's character. He played Sam, and basically he meets up with like these two other kids who, I'm just gonna say this, but I thought it was super funny that Corey Feldman's character the entire time just had this deep voice the entire movie. Like, he sounded like he was trying to sound like an adult, but he was a kid, and it's the funniest thing. Just that choice to me is hilarious. It made me laugh the entire way through every single time he was on screen. But anyway, he meets up with like two other people, and they're basically like vampire hunters, but again, they're kids, so it's even funnier that they're trying to hunt vampires. So that entire aspect of the story and the movie was really funny, and you have that going on. as like Michael's trying to kind of figure himself out, and like Michael's plot is definitely more serious in the sense that, you know, he's seen what these vampires do. We learn about, like, I guess the rules of the world with his character and how these vampires work, and that's some of my favorite things about vampires movies. Even though I've seen so many of them, I love seeing like surprises here and there of different vampires and such, and what affects them, what doesn't affect them, and we definitely learned that a lot with his character, and it's a lot more serious. But then with Michael's brother Sam, it's more of like the lighthearted, like at first he's really scared, his brother just got turned into a vampire, but then they're trying to like solve this and trying to find who the head vampire is. And if you've seen the movie, you know a lot of the funny scenes like at the dinner table and stuff like that. Like, I honestly just thought it was hilarious and a lot of fun, and it just like felt natural. I think it was also because these actors, like especially the actor who played Sam, like it just felt extremely natural to him, like he was just a funny dude. So that energy was kind of just coming off the screen, coming off with the character. And then you also kind of have the plot with the mom, and that plot was definitely important more towards the end when we kind of see how everything turns out with that and stuff. And also another character like the grandpa was also pretty hilarious. Like his character was so random, but in the best way possible, and I loved it. So just a really fun bunch of characters, I think. And the movie, I think, could be a little bit predictable at times. There are a couple surprises here and there, but I think the way the story goes, I think it's one of those movies where you kind of know how it's gonna end up, and I didn't think that was a huge problem for me. But if you're kind of wanting to watch something that's gonna blow your mind or something, maybe this one isn't it. I just think to fully enjoy this movie, you have to like just not think, just kind of sit down and enjoy the ride, because I think it's gonna be a lot more fun that way. Now, it's an 80s movies. I talked about all the positives that came with that. Great soundtrack, pretty great bunch of funny characters, and also just really great vibes the entire way through. But there are some things that happen, and this happens a lot in 80s movies, where it just gets really campy, and it also kind of gets a little bit out there where you're like, I don't know if I buy into that. And obviously this is a vampire movie. They're gonna do some things that just don't actually really happen in real life, and things where you're like, really, that's how that's gonna happen. There's a couple of times here, especially I think towards the ending, where it kind of just goes full 80s crazy, I think, and some of it I enjoyed, some of it I was a little bit like, I think that's a little bit too much. I think it just depends on honestly who's watching it, because if you're really turned off by a lot of campy stuff, then you might not really be too fond of the way the entire movie ends, because I do think I like the ending, but I do think the stuff that they were doing prior to the ending was a lot better than the actual ending itself. However, I do like the actual last scene of the movie. Like, the last scene has to do with the grandpa, and if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But just things that are popping up in my head of things that I liked. I really like the cinematography. There's a couple of times where there's like really cool point of view shots from the vampires flying, which is really crazy cool. Like, I don't ever think we really see them flying. I think there's like maybe 2 scenes or something where we see it, but I really like the choice of just kind of making it through their eyes, flying and looking at everything above, and how just like swerving here and there. I thought it was a lot cooler to me, and I think it would have been a little bit more awkward if we were just actually seeing them flying. But also, that paired with like the score and the stuff in the back and the music, like it was just really cool. Like, I just think this entire movie flowed really well, and it was so much fun, and I feel like I really want everybody to watch this movie now, because I've been recommending this movie by you guys many times, and I'm just so happy that I finally saw it, because I feel like I should have seen this so much earlier. It's so much fun, and this is another one of those 80s movies that I'm just gonna keep revisiting over and over again. And I'm wondering which one you guys like more, if you've seen both of them, Fright Night or The Lost Boys. Honestly, gonna have to rewatch Fright Night, but I really did like that one a lot. But just really great vampire movies, and I think they both go in a route that's pretty different, you know what I mean? But still in that same vampire vein. But yeah, vampires are so much fun. If any of you guys have more vampire movie recommendations, please let me know, because I think vampire movies are pretty epic. Thank you all so much for watching today's review. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to my thoughts on The Lost Boys. My first time watching it, and it was fun. I really did enjoy it a lot, if you guys can't clearly tell. But yeah, and before I do end this review, I wanted to give you guys like some updates, literally really fast, so don't worry, it won't take up too long. But I think by the time this video goes up, it might be going up like 2 days late, or maybe a day late. I don't know, guys. I can't tell the future right now. But basically, I kind of talked about this briefly on a live stream I recently did. Things have been getting a little bit hectic, like with school and stuff like that, and I didn't have enough time to pre-film some of these videos. So you guys are still going to be getting 31 videos in October. I'm still kind of playing catch up, but I will be caught up. And I think by the time this video goes up, my Halloween Ends review should be going up the same day, or if not the day before. Again, I don't know what day this is going on specifically. So I know maybe there's a couple of days where I haven't posted a video, but the reviews that I promised will be out. They've just been like a tad bit late, but I'm hoping that honestly by like Monday I'm caught up and then we're just going back to regular programming and stuff like that. But yeah, thank you all so much for all of the support on 31 Nights of Horror. I've been watching so many cool and fun movies, and it's just been a lot of fun to talk to them with you guys and get to know your thoughts and stuff like that. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching today's review, and I'll make sure to see you all in the next spooky video. Bye everyone!